Alright, new day. While the camera was off, I took off the exhaust, pulled out the drive shaft, and took out the lower control arms. Just a nut and a bolt right here. Probably not going to break free the nut side first. You can loosen up the bolt, and then the nut will start spinning from there. Most of the time, like on this one here, you can't even get to the nut anyway to get it to spin. So you're just going to put a wrench on it, pull the bolt out. That was fairly simple. Obviously, take off. You have your shock and spring and stuff here, your end links on it. All that has to come off. Got those over on the side. Exhaust out, like I said. Drive shaft out. If you're still using the stock Ford bolts, they're 12 millimeter. Seems like that's been everything I've ever had on fucking Fords. So next, also this brace here. This brace bolts onto that front control arm bolt, so don't forget that when it goes back in. When I did the swap last time, I took off the isolator that would have been normally bolted right there. I'm going to see if I can find the heavy duty brace where this actually bolts up to that. I've had random vibrations when you let off the gas. Sometimes it's heavy, sometimes it's not even noticeable. Very inconsistent. I'm wondering if it's part of taking off that vibration isolator there, seeing as it's called a vibration isolator. So I'm going to look for that. If not, I might even look into modifying this one to put fucking mounts up there. They go up to these two bolts here on the differential. That's the only I can figure. I've remeasured and remeasured and remeasured the fucking tail shaft, and this fucking pinion is maybe half a degree or less off of each other, so that shouldn't be a big deal. The next, dropping the differential. It's probably gonna have a little bit of weight to it, so be prepared for that. Also, while you have this out, your tow bar, tow rod, whatever, go ahead and measure center to center and line up your new one. The car drove pretty straight as it was, so I'm gonna get as close as I can, and that'll get me pretty close to a straight alignment without having to go too wild and have a crooked ass fucking tire driving down the road to the alignment shop, because I'm gonna need an alignment anyway, just to make sure it's all good. But this will get you pretty much right there in that ballpark, pretty close. So remember, center of the hole, the center of the hole, measure it out, get your new one, line them up next to each other, whatever you gotta do, make it as close as you can to this one, assuming your alignment was already good to begin with. I have no clue what mine was at, but bitch drove straight, it looked good, so I'm gonna go off of this. All right, to keep it from falling, obviously just one person here. Your buddy might get tired anyway trying to hold it. I'm gonna put this fucking thing under it, so when I pull the bolt out, it doesn't fall, crash, start twisting shit up or whatever. Alright, that bitch was not light, in case anybody was wondering. Alright, I pulled the cradle out and everything. See, I got the fuel lines out of the way. Cradle's obviously out. Just the 4 bolts, you know how to do that. It's 4 bolts. There she is on the ground. I pulled the control arms off and the sway bar out while it's on the ground. Much easier to get to that way. You could probably get to it up there, but very, very limited on space. You may have to do it out here. I really didn't look. I was planning on pulling out anyway. Same thing with the sway bar. That'd probably be a pain in the ass to pull out up there. As a bolt on top. right here, both sides. So that's actually the gas tanks, like right here. Got some tricky little brackets on that. I have a whole new cradle. That's why I'm pulling this one out. And I get a powder coat and everything. This one's pretty old. It looks great. All right, for this part, we got the spindle, the secondary drift brake, handbrake, caliper install on a Cobra IRS. So what we do first, take off that dust shield and then drill out those two holes. As you can see, this one's already done. Alright, so you got your bracket bolted on the spindle. Bolts will run through from the back side. As normally you'd have this fucker on here anyway, and you're able to get it in from the front. Your bolts to bolt the caliper on, or the bracket, you're going to go front to back with a spacer. And that will give you the same distance as the other side over here, these guys. So now you're on the same plane as that. So this one's gonna be back here, it'll be on the front, you're on the same plane. That's why you're running the same brakes on there. That's how you do that secondary drift brake, handbrake. Mine's gonna be just a parking brake. Obviously I'm making it too fucking nice to go out and pick the shit up and drift around. There's your secondary brake on your IRS kit from find them for sale online. Not that hard to find. eBay, something like that. Facebook, find it, search for it. Alright. Upper control arm bushings. First thing you want to do, get a hammer and a punch. You go inside of there, rub it against one of the walls there, and you'll catch the inside of this inner one here, the smaller side. It's going to be pressing from, and when you catch that, you'll be able to pound it out with the hammer. Knock that guy out of there. You don't want that on there. Press it out. Alright, from there, a good piece of pipe that goes around the bushing, but stays on that fucking sleeve there. You're not pushing the sleeve out. And then what I have is a 21 millimeter socket, impact socket, a little stronger, and then put it in like that. And the vise has plenty of power to press it out for me. So that, probably gonna have to tap the socket back out of there. She is. What we're left with is a control arm with the sleeve still in it. We use that sleeve, the bushing presses into that. So repeat it on the other side. That is the bushings out. And now we're gonna clean these things off and put a good coat of paint on them. Make sure they look real nice when we go to put them back in. Subframe's gonna be powder coated. Already dropped that off yesterday. And I'm gonna make these go back to black. That way it kind of contrasts with the subframe and everything. These will be black. I don't know about the lowers yet, but we'll see. I gotta press those out. So that's what's coming next.